So there's this tag that's been going around like an epidemic, like Walking Dead style epidemic. And of course, your boy's been tagged. So today we're going to be talking about 4 fragrances, 1 for each season, 4 fragrances for life. And of course, I'm going to break the rules, well, because, you know, it's just what I do. Stay tuned. What's going on, YouTube? I'm Joshua, as always, and this channel is our channel, Sense. To all the loyal subscribers and the ones that continue to join the crew each and every day, salute. And to all the new people who are checking out the channel, maybe for the very first time, and you're not too sure if you want to stick around, we've updated the place, guys. We don't look so impoverished. We have free tickets to go see the new Aladdin movie that's coming out. Free tickets for all subscribers. Okay, no, I don't have free tickets. I just have cool videos, and if you like them, maybe you'll want to stick around. Maybe I can get you 50% off tickets for Lion King. Gonna try. Today we'll be talking about if a hypothetical situation happened where I had only 4 fragrances to choose from, 1 for each season, which 4 would I choose? Of course, I don't like to follow rules, and I don't like to isolate people or make people feel like they're not a part, so I'm not gonna just talk about the niche fragrances, because people who are into designers might wanna talk about designers, and people who are into designers might wanna hear about niche. So I'm gonna do 4 niche and 4 designers. And if you got time to stick around and watch, cool. If not, I understand. So to start things off, we're gonna start with the designer list. I was very strong in holding true to making each one of these fragrances fit that season and try not to be partial towards any and try to just cheat and choose like 4 fragrances that are super versatile and just like say, look, I'm gonna use these for these seasons. Fragrances that are practical and fit those seasons. So here we go. Starting off the list with designer spring. So for spring designer, we're gonna reach for a fragrance from the house of Dior. When it comes to spring and it comes to Dior, I feel that no other fragrance in the line is more quintessential for a easygoing, relaxed, easy, fresh fragrance, something that will work in pretty much any environment, especially in the time of spring. The fragrance we're talking about is my favorite from the Homme line, the fragrance that's better than Prada L'Homme, people. It is Dior Homme's Eau. Dior Homme Eau is usually overlooked for Dior Homme, Dior Homme Intense, Dior Homme Sport, Dior Homme Parfum, all of the different Dior Hommes, and also for Prada L'Homme. I feel like the Prada L'Homme craze kind of caught everybody, and this one just kind of took a back seat, but this one came out first, and let's be real. Prada L'Homme was Prada's answer to this fragrance, and we didn't even know, for the most part as a community, that this one existed. So when I got my nose on this one, I loved every bit of it. It's a much more wearable, in my opinion, version of Prada L'Homme. It's much more manly. The iris is more subdued. It's not so powdery and so sharp. I find that this one is a lot better in just every aspect and avenue, and it just does better on my skin. So for my designer spring fragrance, Dior Homme's Eau. Jumping right into summer, what list from this guy right here will be complete without giving you a fragrance from Versace? And what fragrance is gonna work perfect in summer, but also is gonna be versatile just in case I wanna cheat and jump into the other seasons with this fragrance? None other than Versace's Dylan Blue. Dylan Blue is a perfect quintessential fragrance for summertime. It's part of the blue craze, as I call it. Blue bottle says it all. It's got the ambroxan note in it. It's got a freshness to it. It's a lot like Dior Sauvage, Prada Luna Rossa Carbon, Bulgari Atlantique. There's a ton of them. They all smell very similar, but in my opinion, bang for your buck, dollar for dollar, best scent that you can get and that would definitely work for you and not destroy your pocketbook, Versace's Dylan Blue. Moving into fall, there's a fragrance that I just recently released and I have already fallen in love with it. Sadly, it is discontinued. Sadly, it's gonna be hard for most people to find, and it is quite pricey for what it is. It comes from the house of Yves Saint Laurent, and it's the fragrance that made oud popular in the designer realm, kind of brought it to the designer realm. The fragrance we're talking about is M7. YSL's M7 is bringing the Western world of oud and those types of fragrances to designer people. Of course, I'm not talking about people who are designers, but I mean people who are into designer fragrances. This was the first wearable, accessible, and attainable oud fragrance without having to pay an absorbent amount of money, and something that was definitely meant for mainstream fragrance people. This is gonna work perfectly for me in the fall time. I haven't worn it yet in the fall because I haven't had it for very long, but I know by just first sniff that this would be a great fall time fragrance, and I just fallen in love with it and I don't want to let it go. So if you're gonna make me keep just 4, I'm gonna keep this one. So for my fall fragrance, I choose YSL's M7. So rounding out the list, and my choice for the winter is from the house of Givenchy, Givenchy, however you want to say it. Givenchy Play Intense. Yeah, it's a really busted up bottle, as you can see. The glass is chipped right here. The cap is all busted up. It's not in the best of shape, but you know what? It still smells freaking good. In my opinion, this is a vastly overlooked fragrance. I don't know why people don't talk about it as much. I see so many scent of the day posts, but I never ever see anything about this one. I find that this is a gem. So if you're looking for something and you just got that trigger finger happy and you want to buy something and you're like, I want to buy a fragrance, but man, I've smelled pretty much everything, or I've experienced everything, and I have a tight budget and I want to spend a whole lot of money, easily one of the best buys you can make, in my opinion. I'm not a big proponent of blind buying, but I don't see you not liking this. Coffee, sweetness, perfect for winter, pierces through the cold, lasts forever, a perfect winter fragrance if you're looking for a designer fragrance. My choice for the 4 for Life challenge in the season of winter is Givenchy Play Intense. So let's jump into niche, and if you're still here and you're still watching, then great. If you're done with it and you like just the designers, till the next video. So jumping right into spring is one of my favorite fragrances. It's ultra unique, it's ultra modern, and it's ultra different. It was number 1 on my niche spring list, and that's for a good reason. The fragrance we're talking about, You or Someone Like You by Etat Libre d'Orange. This fragrance is like a moto mojito on crack. No, not like a moto mojito that you pour on crack and then sniff. Like, it's strong, okay? It's strong. Never have I ever smelled a fresh fragrance that is as potent as this. This will last for a very long time. This projects, fills up a room, and it doesn't take a lot of sprays. I mean 4 or 5 sprays, and you're ready to face an entire day, hot, cold, it doesn't matter. This one is going to work. And when it comes to that springtime, when it's still kind of chilly and it's starting to come into the time when it starts to warm up and you're in the 60s and the 70s, this one performs like an absolute monster. I kind of feel like it's ironic that it's got a big gigantic eyeball, which Etat Libre d'Orange is just weird. They do a lot of weird stuff. Like, look at this. This is weird. Anyway, guys, for spring, from the niche realm, I would go with You or Someone Like You by Etat Libre d'Orange. So when it comes to summer and it comes to niche, this was love at first sniff. It's still one of my favorite fragrances of all time. If I had to make a top 10 favorite fragrances of all time, fragrances that mean the most to me, this would easily be in the top 10. This is a quintessential summer fragrance. It's still on the same lines of feeling like it's kind of boozy, feeling like it's tropical, kind of like the last one, but it doesn't perform as strong and it isn't as polarizing, but it's really awesome and it can be worn by men or women. Enough rambling. The fragrance, if you haven't already guessed it, is Creed's Virgin Island Water. Beachy vibes, sitting at a cabana, drinking a coconut filled with some kind of alcoholic beverage. This is a great summertime fragrance. Some people think it smells like suntan lotion and someone has thrown rum on you, or maybe like a pina colada, but I just think that it just smells fantastic. It just reminds me of summertime. It just brings me back to a time when I was young and carefree, running around on the beaches, watching the hot girls. Let's be honest, guys. Everyone was hoping those little strings would just magically undo. I'm not saying that anymore. I'm married. I'm just saying. Back then, guys. Back then. Outside of FragCom, I'm sure not a lot of people have smelled this, and outside of FragCom, People will think you're super ultra unique if you wear something like this. So this right here will always be in my collection, and this right here would definitely be my summer choice for niche 4 fragrances for life. So again, Creed's Virgin Island Water. Moving right along to the fall season is a fragrance that I picked up because of suggestion from my friend Emmy over at the channel Emmy Ever After, and this fragrance is actually a staple of a good buddy of mine's, Chris from Fragmental. In fact, I think that this made his list. I didn't copy your style, bro. It's a great fragrance and I've fallen in love with it. So coming in at the fall season of my niche for life fragrances, it's gonna be Tom Ford's Oud Wood. Now I know what some of you thinking, oh, it's Tom Ford, that's not niche. And there's gonna be people who are gonna say, well, this smell is close to niche, but it isn't exactly niche. It's a private collection of a designer company. Lame. But listen, guys, you're not gonna walk up to a Macy's, a Dillard's, a Sephora, an Ulta, and ask for Oud Wood and them have it. If you're gonna grab this retail, it's gonna be in a high-end department store or in a boutique. Here where I live, the only place you can buy this in person is gonna be at a boutique. Now, I didn't buy it in person because it's really expensive. But at the end of the day, this, in my opinion, is niche quality, and it's not easily accessible, it's not easily attainable, and the ingredients and the way it's made are great. As far as the scent goes, it's not too heavy, it's not too light, it's not too overbearing, but it's not too, keep to myself. It's the perfect blend, in my opinion, of a sophisticated guy, a guy who's sure of himself, a guy who doesn't need everyone to be all up in his scent bubble and pushing that bubble out 50 miles like it's a Dragon Ball Z spirit bomb. People of the earth, lend me your fragrance energy! I know, it was lame. It's okay. Oud Wood is definitely not gonna let you down, especially if you're dressed up, especially if you have a well-to-do job, especially if you work in the office. Ladies are gonna love this because you're gonna smell like a man. And I just really like the way it works for me on my skin, and my wife loves it. And that's a rarity when it comes to these fragrances. So falling in the fall position of my 4 for life niche side is gonna be Tom Ford's Oud Wood. Finishing off the whole enchilada is a fragrance that was suggested to me by my good buddy, the fallen soldier, that is Bradley Harrison, over at the now retired channel Triple Ink. Bradley talked about this fragrance ad nauseum, and I was tired of hearing everyone talk about the house, and I said, you know what, Bradley's the only one talking about this one, and I really trust his opinion, and I'm tired of hearing about Leighton and Godolphin and Herod and all of these other ones, and I just really thought, man, I should probably smell this. And I'm glad I did, because it's my favorite from the line. The fragrance coming in at the winter spot of my niche for life fragrance list is Parfums de Marly Habden. Parfums de Marly Habden is a fantastic, sweet, luxurious, yet dark and dense fragrance. With apple and spicy notes, this fragrance feels like you're gonna smell delectable, delicious, and important all at the same time. Like good old Alfalfa would say, my delectable darloonie. As with all Parfums de Marly fragrances, this one projects, this one performs, and it's such a great value for such a huge bottle, and these things are heavy. So if I only have 4 fragrances for life, chances are the world's coming to an end. And if the world's coming to an end, I need a weapon. And this cap could probably kill at least 4 walkers. Just throw it, go through head, through head, through head. I mean, this stuff is just, it's serious business. Enough jokes, enough rambling. Coming in at my winter spot in my 4 fragrance for life niche edition is none other than Parfums de Marly Habden. So as with every other tag video, you gotta keep the train rolling, so I'm gonna tag a bunch of people. And before I do, I want to thank my buddy Dan over at the channel Scented Waters, because all of my other people who should have tagged me let me down. I lie, I'm just joking. I'm sure I was tagged somewhere else, but my buddy Dan tagged me. I definitely watched his video, and so since I saw him tag me, I figured, hey, gotta put my boy on the spot, gotta shine light on him, and I gotta respond because you know what? Challenge accepted. So as far as people I'm gonna tag, I'm gonna start it off with my buddy from America's Stylish Hat, Mr. James Frantowski over at the channel Jroyl. He's a really cool dude. I've been friends with him for quite some time. He's kind of kept to himself for the most part lately. I'm not sure why, but he's actually on a cruise ship with his should-be wife, James, should-be wife. but girlfriend, and he's probably gonna take a little while to respond to this, but James, I look forward to hearing what you have to say. I wanna know, if you could only keep 4 fragrances for life, what would they be? Next up, I'm gonna go ahead and tag my buddy Justin Copeland over at Stay Fresh Productions, or J Copeland, whichever one you want to call it. I think his channel's called J Copeland, but I love that he calls it another one from Stay Fresh Productions. It just sounds fancy. It just sounds really important. Justin, if you're watching this, which I hope you are, I hope you go ahead and give me your 4, because I'm sure that you're gonna have a great list, and I look forward to it. And I just want to know if I'm gonna be right and what I'm gonna guess at. I'm not gonna give it away, but I look forward to hearing from you. Up next to be tagged is my buddy over there from that sweaty hot state called Texas. My buddy from the channel Classy Sense, Henry. I'm sure Henry's gonna have some great choices, and he's gonna say stuff like, "This is an absolute banger. This is gonna get great ladies' reactions," or stuff like that. But Henry, you're tagged, and I look forward to what you have to say. And you know what? I'll be watching, bro. The next person I'm gonna tag is a sweet, awesome, cool, suave, pretty lady, Miss Eva Monroe. Eva's got a channel on YouTube. She talks a lot in the Facebook fragrance group called Fragrance Kings. She is a sweet, charismatic, and very intelligent woman. She's very intimidating in a good way. But you should definitely check out her channel. She's got a lot of good stuff. She has a lot of good things to say. And she's got a lot of good advice for guys out there, especially you single guys. So Eva, I'm looking forward to what you have to say. And I saved the best for last. His knowledge knows no bounds. His creativity when it comes to the art of fragrance and how beautiful a fragrance is uncanny. His understanding of the greatest fragrance house of all time is so profound that even an oyster cannot open until it hears the words from his lips. The person that I'm going to tag is none other than Eugene, without an E on the end, from the channel You Smells Good. Eugene, I'd love to hear what you have to say. And I'm sure you're gonna mention a crap ton of Guerlain, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna mention Nautica Voyage, even though it should be said to be a Drek or Drab or whatever word you say all the time, drugstore, Macy's counter perfume. But I know you like it because you made a video about it. So Eugene, an all good fun guy, I would love to hear what your 4 fragrances would be for life. Spring, winter, summer, fall. All you gotta do is call. And I'll be watching. Anyway, guys, that's enough for me. I hope you enjoyed this entirely too long video. If you did, go ahead and subscribe. And then after you do that, go ahead and smash that notification bell. That way, when my videos come out, you won't miss them and you will be the first to know. As always, and as my buddy Yasha would say, I love you from the bottom of my heart, and I'll smell you later. Peace.